and got to fish in the Big Bass World Championship to get all the system fixed.
Fort Worth is where the West begins. Became the home of the first.
Y'all know the band called Midland, and of course where they're going to do the cattle drive. Might have to go to a Bambi or a Pod or something.
But there's a whole lot of history down here.
This here is Tyson. Say hi to Tyson.
I used to fish a lot of tournaments. In 1996, I won the state of Iowa and got to fish in the Big Bass World Championship representing the state of Iowa. We're in Texas. I gotta throw a line out, right?
Maybe I shouldn't stand directly back here.
It is brisk this morning.
It's currently 57 degrees.
57. Had a beautiful sunset last night. Get a lot of beautiful sunsets that goes across the water here. But anyway, today Michelle and I are going to head into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is our last weekend here at Lake Tawakoni. It's 1,000 Trails. And then we're going to start heading up to Truma in Elkhart, Indiana to get all the system fixed on our Airstream, on Stella. Sorry, Stella. We're going to go into Fort Worth today and see the historic area of the Stockyards, and then we're going to visit some family. I've got a lot of cousins that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And as soon as Michelle's ready, we're going to go. We've been wanting to go to the Stockyards for a long time.
I know.
This will be our first time we've ever been there. That should be a good time. Let's roll.
Starting route to Stockyards.
$15 to park? Good Lord, a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Well, we just paid our $15 to park.
Good all day.
Now for all day parking. And since we're near, we thought we'd look at some steer.
Holy cow, look at the size of those horns. Wow.
Those guys are really horny, aren't they? Yeah,
that one has something in his nose.
Fort Worth is where the West begins, and nothing embodies Western heritage better than the Fort Worth Stockyards National Historic District. From the original brick walkways to the wooden corrals, every inch of the Stockyards tells the true history of Texas's famous livestock industry. As a drover headed cattle up the Chisholm Trail to the railroads, he had one last stop for rest and supplies, Fort Worth, Texas. Beyond Fort Worth, he'd be crossing the Red River into Indian Territory. Between 1866 and 1890, drovers trailed more than 4 million head of cattle through Fort Worth. The city soon became known as Cowtown when the railroad arrived in 1876. Fort Worth became a major shipping point for livestock, so the city built the Union Stockyards, 2.5 miles north of the Tarrant County Courthouse in 1887. But the Union Stockyards Company lacked the funds to buy enough cattle to attract local ranchers. So President Mike C. Hurley invited wealthy Boston capitalist Greenleaf Simpson to Fort Worth in hopes he would invest.
Looking at a lot of these pins here at the Stockyards, knowing they dated back to the 1800s, it's pretty cool. The very streets they used to walk on.
Simpson arrived and found the pens full of cattle. He decided Fort Worth represented a good market and made plans to invest. Little did he know the pens didn't normally hold that much cattle. He'd simply arrived on the heels of heavy rains and a railroad strike.
We're down at Stockyards Station right now. A lot of little restaurants and shops. It's a pretty neat little area with the old brick streets.
Railroad, it's going right through.
Go, Michelle. That looks like a store you might want to check out. She shook her head and went right in.
April 27, 1893, Simpson bought the Union Stockyards for $133,333.33 and changed the name to the Fort Worth Stockyards Company. Simpson invited other investors to join him, including his Boston neighbor, Louisville V. Niles, whose primary business was meatpacking. They soon realized that instead of shipping the cattle off to other markets to be processed, they'd be much better off building meatpacking plants nearby so they could keep the business in the city.
As you can see, you can rent some bicycles here if you'd like to. They've got a Hyatt Place, hotel, RFD TV.
Investors began working to attract major packers to Fort Worth, and by about 1900, they had persuaded both Armour and Company and Swift and Company to build plants near the stockyards. Armour and Swift held a simple coin toss to decide who would get which tract of land. Armour won the toss and chose the northern site. Construction began in 1902. However, Swift and Company ended up getting the better end of the bargain with the southern side, which contained a large gravel pit that they used for the construction of their plant. They even sold some of the gravel to Armour. That same year, construction started on the pens, the barns, and the new livestock exchange building, which housed the many livestock commission companies, telegraph offices, railroad offices, and other support businesses. It became known as the Wall Street of the West.
I know.
The success of the stockyards meant the area needed an indoor show facility.
This here, folks, is the Coliseum, the ever so famous Coliseum. Not the one in Rome.
In 1907, construction began on a grand Coliseum, now known as the Cowtown Coliseum. That was completed in just 88 working days, in time for the grand opening of the Feeders and Breeders Show. The Coliseum became the home of the first indoor rodeo.
It's like cowpop.
will butter my buns and call me Biscuit. She's got her new man.
Don't get all whiskey.
And then you got the famous Billy Bobs here. If y'all know the band called Midland, they're playing tonight. Just to get into Billy Bob's, just to go look around, it costs $3 each. The concert tonight is all sold out. It was Midland. Billy Bob's does not allow you to take video inside, but you can take pictures.
It was during the day, so not really a whole lot going on.
What is it we're gonna go see now?
The cattle drive.
2 times in the day, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. They have the famous cattle drive. Everybody kind of lines up on the sidewalk, gets their spot. We found a bench right by the sidewalk, and what did we find, Michelle?
You found
A Shake Shack. You ever tried Shake Shack? You should try it.
Yeah, they're good.
Good burgers, good fries, and of course,
Good shakes.
if you come down here to the Stockyards and you're wondering, like we were, where they're going to do the cattle drive, so if you locate where the Coliseum is, this road that comes up next to it, so they come down a road over here, come down this road, and then they will be coming right here past us. And so that was it.
Just a short cattle drive.
Boy, a lot of people come to see that. It's a neat place, isn't it?
I like it here.
What else would you like to do? Go see more shops? Orange and everything.
Right color.
Yep. That'll work. Now if we can just figure out a way to, might have to go to like a Bambi or a pod or something to pull with that.
Right.
I don't care, whatever it takes.
Show the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky.
such a licking, I promise. But there's a whole lot of history down here in the Fort Worth Stockyards Historic District, and I don't reckon my bazoo could ever begin to tell you all about the entire history. Besides, Brian and Michelle are ready to get a wiggle on and hook up with their kinfolk. This is Randy, Marty, Tom, and Joyce. And of course, y'all know Pie Girl Michelle. One thing's for sure. If you ever get to Fort Worth and don't have your britches in a twist, I'd suggest you take an entire day and night and enjoy all that Fort Worth Stockyards have to offer. Well, looks like this rowdy bunch is fixing to head to their ace in the hole for a hog-killing time. So I guess this is where I have to say, adios.
This here is Tyson. Say hi to Tyson. Tyson. Tyson got his name because he liked nibbling and biting our mommy and daddy's ear. So they named him Tyson.
I don't know about you, but I am absolutely worn out, tired. We had a fun weekend.
We did.
Hung out with some family too, and had a really good time. And that's it.
Let's call it a day.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up. See you next week.